Okay, in this video I'm going to explain the homework for 5.4. So if you know that BD is a median, what does that mean? So you should have it labeled. So I would say label that median. Here's your median. What happens when you have a median? So what happens is you get two equal sides down below, and therefore I can label that as a 6. And they want to know the length of AD, so I can say that AD, without any mark on top, that means the length of AD equals 6. Okay, look at the next one. They're telling you once again that BD is a median, so if it's a median, then that means that this is the median they're talking about. These are equal. If those are equal, then what I know is that this is also 17. Okay, so those were two easy questions. If you didn't get those, definitely go back and look at the notes again. So let's go on to the next page. Okay, on this page, we're going to handle problems 3 to 6. So I'm going to highlight for you right now, you have this midpoint formula, which you're going to be using, and you also have the distance formula. Both of these will be used, and you should show your work in your problem. So for number 3, it says find the coordinates of D, and then they tell you that D is the midpoint of AB. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that. If it's the midpoint, I know that the length of this I can get. So I want the coordinates of D, I want that midpoint. Use your 2 points here. Here's the point at this edge. Here's the point at this edge. This is B right here. This is A right here. So to do 3, I would say that the midpoint, which is point D, I'm looking for a coordinate pair, equals, so x2, so let's take the first x, so 4 plus 8 divided by 2 will give me my x, and then 5 plus 1 divided by 2 will give me my y. So what's my coordinate pair? Well, if I do the math, 4 plus 8 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. 5 plus 1 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. So does it make sense with my grid that this point is 6, 3, and just checking my x and my y, it does make sense. So that problem's done. So let's go on and we'll look at question 4. So 4 says, find the length of the median CD. So why don't I do this? Why don't I change the color for the next problem? So we're going to do problem 4 in that color. So the length of the median CD. Well, you don't have it yet, so you're going to have to sketch it in. So draw in a nice line. That's going to be your median. All right, now I want the length of that line. So I'm going to use the distance formula for that. So the distance formula equals the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. All right, let's get our variables. So if I take the D as my x2, so it's going to be 6 minus, then I have C down here, 6 minus 2 squared plus, since under the radical still, y, I have to go back to the D, 3 minus a minus 3, so that's 3 plus 3 squared. So what am I going to get? Let's see. 6 minus 2 is 4, and 4 squared is 16, plus 3 plus 3 is 6, and 6 squared is 36, so I'm going to get radical 52. Now at this point, that's all I want you to do. I want you to give me the exact answer, and that is the exact answer. All right, let me change again. And we're going to do question number 5. So let's do 5 over here. And for 5 it says find the coordinates of E, and they tell you that E, which is right here, is going to be the midpoint of BC. So I have pairs, coordinate pairs for B and C, so I'm going to use the midpoint formula, and I'm going to say that point E, the coordinate pair is going to be add your x's together, and that's 8 plus 2 divided by 2, comma, add your y's together, and that's going to be, that's going to be 1 and a minus 3, so that is going to be, 1 minus 3 over 2. I'm going to write it like that. Then I'm going to do the math. 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. That's the x value of my coordinate pair. And 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Negative 2 over 2 is negative 1, and we're done. So this point right here is 5, comma, negative 1. Okay, next. We say find the length of the median AE. So the median AE, so changing colors, the median AE is right here once I draw it in, and so you're going to have to use the distance formula to get that value. So let's see if I can put that maybe up top here. So to do question 6, I'm doing the distance formula. So the distance formula tells me that I'm going to use this formula. So that distance, which is the length of the median, is going to be the square root of, and it's going to be x2. So I'm going to start up at the A point. So x2 is going to be 4 minus 5, and I'm going to square this, and then plus 5 minus a minus 1, so that's 5 plus 1, and I'm going to square this. Okay, very carefully. When you have 4 minus 5, that is a negative 1. I'm going to square that. Notice the parens. 5 plus 1 is a 6. Square that. Okay, negative 1 squared is negative 1 times negative 1. That is a positive 1. That's the most often made mistake. Plus 6 squared is 36. So my answer is radical 37. And that is the length of AE, which is a median. Okay, so that covers those questions. Let's go on to the next ones on the next page. Okay, look at questions 7 and 8. First, it talks about copy and complete the statement. So I'm going to first draw the triangle because that's my best case scenario. So this is triangle MNP, and it says it has these medians. So one median is MT, so that's a median, which is MT. Another one is NR, so here's NR. And then another one is PS. And then they say the centroid, which is this middle point right here, is Q. Okay, so if you did not draw that triangle, you probably were very confused about this problem. So if they don't give you an illustration, you need to provide one for yourself. Okay, QR. So QR, how does that relate to NR? So here is QR. QR is from the centroid to the side of the triangle. The relationship is QR is 1/3 of NR. So go back and check the notes if that's not clear. Okay, the next piece, MQ. Okay, so MQ, let's do that in a different color. MQ is right here. That's from the vertex to the centroid. So from the vertex to the centroid is going to be 2/3 of the entire median. So this is 2/3. So we have 1/3 and 2/3. Okay, we'll go on to the next question. So it says S is the centroid. So look where it is. It's right in the middle here. So this is a centroid, which means it connects the medians. So knowing that it's a centroid, I now know that this has to equal this equals this equals this. Okay, so now, since this is a 6, this has to be a 6. What else do I know? Well, one thing I know is the relationship between this piece right here and this piece is that SU is half of SR. So that's another relationship we can derive. So the whole piece is 6. Okay, so now let's look up here. They have given us some information. RS is 4. That's already on there. What else do I know? And VW is 6. Okay, that's already on there. And TV is 9. So if this whole piece is 9, I can do some math. Okay, so if TV equals 9, then TS equals 2/3 of 9. So that means I can cancel like that. That's going to be 6. So TS is 6. And what else do I know? SV equals 1/3 of 9, which is also 3. But notice, 6 and 3 have the same relationship as 2 and 4 have. So the littler piece is always half the length of the bigger segment. Okay, so I haven't answered any of the questions yet because I've just been decorating my figure using the information they gave me above. So first question, what is RV? Well, we've already talked that through. That's a 6. What is SU? I just figured that out also when we talked about things. That's going to be a 2. RU is the whole piece, so it's 4 plus 2, so that is 6. And RW is the whole length of the bottom of the triangle, which is 6 plus 6, which is 12. TS is 6, because I've already labeled that. And SV, I've already labeled, is 3. So I had most of the work done before I even read the questions because I had illustrated the information that was provided me in this sentence up here before I started looking at the questions. Okay, so this is a challenging section, so you may need to go back, listen to this again, look over your homework, make sure you understand it.